There is an epidemic of hidden PTSD in this world. Every single soul on this planet is dealing with some form of post-traumatic stress disorder. This isn't just the fight or flight response to tragedy or the war trauma that veterans suffer from, which is the well-known and documented form of PTSD. When you've endured emotional turmoil at one time or another, whether it's ongoing in the present or it has passed, it has probably shaken you and altered your perception of the world. Day-to-day emotional wounds add up. Insecurities, trust issues, fears, guilt, shame, and more. These all actually stem from past negative emotional experiences. They are all a result of hidden PTSD. So, for example, when a person has a fear of committing to a relationship, it's showcasing that something happened earlier in life to create a certain level of post-traumatic stress disorder. You never know what happened in someone's past that's contributing to their present-day reaction. PTSD can happen on so many different levels. Post-traumatic stress disorder, in its true definition, is the experience of lingering negative feelings that result from any adverse encounter and that limit a person in any way. These feelings include fear, doubt, insecurity, worry, concern, pain, or panic, avoidance, anger, hostility, hypervigilance, irritability, distractedness, self-loathing, abandonment, defensiveness, agitation, sadness, frustration, resentment, cynicism, shame, invisibility, voicelessness, powerlessness, vulnerability, loss of confidence, lack of self-worth, and distrust. Post-traumatic stress disorder is something that occurs from any difficult experience. There are the more severe cases of PTSD we know about, the ones that result from experiences such as abuse or tragedy or kidnapping or witnessing a violent crime. Then there are the under-recognized triggers. A child's parents divorcing could make her avoid marriage as an adult. A teenager who doesn't get a date for prom could start disliking all school dances. Turbulence on a plane ride could lead a person to never want to fly again. Other triggers include getting fired from a job, breaking up with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, small fender benders that don't even result in injuries, or a moment in life when you feel like you failed at something. Women afraid to conceive after enduring difficult pregnancies in the past. These are forms of PTSD. There are no limitations to what can cause PTSD. And I want to point out that that's the human part of us. That's this line item right here, the human part of us with our emotional body and our emotions and our thoughts and our feelings and so forth. The human part of us is susceptible to this. The human part of us is what's getting in the way. And like I've said many times before, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And as such, you've got to be able to deal with both sides of the equation. Now, granted, there are moments when you touch who you really are and you're living from this line right here, the infinite, where you have no beginning, you have no end. And you literally could speak planets into existence if you weren't limited by the rules of this matrix. When you're there, PTSD is out the window. You find yourself being or doing and saying and being in a remarkable manner, doing things that you never thought you could do, saying things that just come to you naturally. That's being in flow. When you're in the infinite side, being in flow, the world is your oyster. You can do anything, but you occupy a human body. And that human body is what jams us up sometimes. And that's what this is about. So it's the human part of us I'm talking about. You may find yourself re-experiencing old memories as though they were happening all over again, or re-experiencing the emotions they triggered without knowing why. This unknown form of PTSD, which is the focus of this paper I'm writing, is so rampant that almost everyone has it. It results from the unpleasant situations that we all have to deal with, ones that we may forget about consciously, but not subconsciously. One trigger is illness. Many people develop PTSD just from having the flu for 2 weeks, never mind chronic fatigue for 3 months, or neurological problems for years. The experience of these symptoms is one part of the story. A whole other cause for emotional damage is the doctor shopping journey, the battery of tests, the constant MRIs, the CT scans that don't reveal anything, the despair of not finding relief or validation. PTSD tends to pile up on top of itself. Once you've been sick for any period of time and you start believing your body is letting you down, and you're lost in a non-diagnosis or a misdiagnosis or a diagnosis that leads to no healing, and the financial strain starts to build, and maybe you feel your hold slipping on your career or relationships, it makes you a likely candidate for a unique composition of post-traumatic stress disorders. So you can have more than one. And the modern term for that is complex PTSD. PTSD is a very real response to the illness of a loved one too. Watching someone lose her or his vitality and cease to be able to perform the same role she or he once did in your life can make you feel vulnerable and powerless. Overextending yourself to care for someone can be taxing as well. Even if your loved one recovers, the moment they later sound groggy or develop a benign sniffle, it can dredge up those old fears and make you feel you're reliving that dark time. It's possible to have PTSD and not realize it. If it originates from subconscious memories, you may experience unexplained feelings of avoidance, or you may shut down in certain circumstances and not know why. Perhaps you find yourself driven to overeat sweets or seek out adrenaline rush activities. Or maybe people have given you the upsetting labels touchy, prickly, fragile, wounded, anal, or oversensitive. These are all signs that something once happened or happened over an extended period to bring about a reaction in the now. The medical establishment doesn't truly know yet what PTSD is. It doesn't know PTSD's range, and it doesn't know how it occurs. So what I want you to get, you're not beholding to the unpleasant parts of your personal history. Everything I just talked about is energy. Energy is impressed upon matter, and you are matter. So we're going to go after this energy here that's got a hold of you. So you're not destined to relive the same patterns of trauma over and over again. The people who've hurt you do not hold the power to haunt you for the rest of your life. The mishaps and chronic stresses do not have to define you. There's a way forward. So, and I kind of go on to describe with the right emotional energy clearings, nutritional and soul healing support, you can reclaim your vitality. And I've tested this over and over. I know it works. So think of it like working with a computer that's become bogged down with viruses, old files, and outdated software. It's gotten slower over time, but you're used to it. So if your niece came to visit and decided to run an antivirus scan to download your old files onto an external hard drive and to update all your software, you'd be astonished at how much faster and more efficiently your computer could operate. Plus, you'd have so much more storage space available. That's what it can be like when you rid your mind and consciousness of PTSD wounds. When you learn to heal, you increase your operating capacity and open yourself up to all that goodness you haven't had room to receive. PTSD, no matter the scale, negatively influences the choices we make and changes the fabric of who we are. You don't have to live in a tortured state of mind anymore. There's a way forward. Putting yourself first doesn't mean you don't care about others. It means you're smart enough to know you can't help others if you don't help yourself first. So my advice to you is get to the website, Institute for Soul Evolution, sign up for the Soul Warrior Network, and get into this first class that's coming up next Wednesday. It'll meet, you'll have to check out the pricing for sure on the website. It's less than $200 a month. For that, you're going to get 4 weeks of clearing. If you sign up for the, you can keep going and keep going and keep going. We're going to work on a different part of the field every month. We're going to clean things up in different areas every month. And you just keep going until you feel like you've gotten your level of consciousness back and you feel like you've gotten your heaven on earth back. Okay. And it's all very possible. And it's all very doable. The importance of a group setting is that we can get to more people faster, which is super important because the world is a changing and we're about to come up to a Y in the road. And that Y in the road is, do we go deeper into lack and struggle, or do we begin to create a world of love and light? And we need more people, we need more masters in this world living a life of love and light and having the capacity to choose love and light. And in a group setting, we get to more people that way. It's also very powerful because you're in a group with other people who are also doing their work. That creates a field, a container. And inside that container, I can move energy faster and even stronger than I do on one-on-one sessions. So it's exponentially more powerful. So this is a great opportunity to help change the world, to help change yourself, to help others in the group as well by being there and being part of that container.
Yeah.